Welcome to Inside Werner Wildlife with Levi in India. Today we're going to talk about the American Wapiti. Wapiti, what a great word. It's fun to say and clearly refers to Cervus canadensis without incurring criticism from those who don't like Latin names. It comes from a Shawnee and Cree word that means white rump. Anyone who's viewed the south end of a Wapiti headed north can appreciate this. Elk is simpler, but lacks the satisfying smack of lips offered by Wapiti. Elk can also be misleading, since in Eurasia, elk refers to what Americans call a moose. Both moose and Wapiti are members of the deer family. For decades, the North American elk and the red deer of western Eurasia were thought to be a single species. In 1998, Valerius Geist suggested that the two were separate species, a suggestion which was later supported by study of DNA variation patterns. Scientists originally identified 6 subspecies of Wapiti in North America alone, but recent DNA studies suggest there are only a few species throughout the world, with all American Wapiti belonging to a single subspecies. Wapitis are ruminants with 4-chambered stomachs. The first stomach stores food. The other 3 digest food. Unlike their deer and moose cousins, Wapitis prefer grazing over browsing, though they will do both. Grass is especially important in the spring, with forbs, willow, chokecherry, serviceberry, and aspen tree sprouts supplementing their diet throughout the rest of the year. Wapiti range from alpine meadows to desert valleys to temperate rainforests. Though Wyoming Wapiti favor forest and forage edge habitat, it isn't unusual to see them in open grassland, especially during migration. They're most active at dawn and dusk, with daytime feeding being more common in summer than in winter. Between feeding, animals bed down in meadows or at the edge of forest openings to chew cud and await the next grazing period. During rut, which is September through October, mature bulls gather harems of cows and calves and ruthlessly defend these harems against other bulls. Females breed for the first time at 2 years. The estrus cycle lasts only a day or two, but may be repeated if fertilization doesn't take place. Calves are born in late spring after a gestation period of roughly 250 days. Most cows give birth to 1 calf at a time, but twins do occur. Once the mating is over, bulls move back into bachelor herds or go off on their own, while cows, calves, and yearlings form loose herds that are headed by old cows. Newborn calves are initially hidden in bushes or rough terrain until they're old enough to keep up with the others. Wapiti are among the largest land animals in North America, exceeded only by bison, Kodiak and polar bears, and moose. A newborn calf tips the scales at 35 pounds. An average cow weighs 500 pounds, stands 4.5 feet at the shoulder, and is 6.5 feet from nose to tail. Bulls average 700 pounds, measure 5 feet at the shoulder, and 8 feet from nose to tail. Some are considerably larger, ranging up to half a ton before rut begins. Only bulls have antlers, which they shed and regrow yearly. Velvet-covered antlers appear in the early spring and harden through the summer. By fall rut, the antlers are solid bone and the velvet has peeled away. The mature bull's antlers can weigh up to 40 pounds. Both sexes have upper canine teeth called ivories. These ivories may be remnants of tusks that were used by ancestral species in combat. To threaten another animal, a Wapiti displays these ivories with a curl of its upper lip. Hissing and grinding teeth emphasize the threat. Sound is important to Wapiti, enabling them to identify other Wapiti and alert each other to danger. Though she recognizes her own calf's voice, a cow will respond to any calf's bleated distress signal. Chirps, barks, squeals, and grunts constitute Wapiti conversation. Arguably, the most familiar sound is the bellowing bugle of a bull announcing that he is king of the world and ready to take on any other bull who disputes his right to the title. Migration patterns and distances vary widely between populations. Some populations move between seasonal ranges while others remain in place throughout the year. Individual animals have been known to make annual migrations as much as 60 miles. Good winter range with sufficient security, shelter, forage is essential to the welfare of herds and individuals. Home ranges in the Rocky Mountains may encompass 30 square miles. Though the largest concentration of wapiti is found in the western mountain states, small herds are located in the Appalachian Mountains and the Arkansas Ozarks, among other places. The Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation estimates that 1 million wapiti roam the United States today, down from 10 million that occupied the area at the time of European settlement.